Dear Aunt Flo is a podcast about bad periods, and I'm your host, Elisa Michelle. Every month, we'll dive deep into my own vagina monologues as I discuss my journey with endometriosis and share stories that we wish someone would have warned us about sooner. I am your new period BFF, so let's get comfortable speaking about our cycles. What up, what up? My name is Elisa. Welcome back to my podcast. If you're new here, welcome. I invite you to check out the previous episodes so you can have a better introduction as to why I started this podcast, and then circle back so that we can get into this episode. This one will have a high rate of TMI. The podcast in general has a high rate of TMI, but this episode specifically is going to get into it. It's probably going to be the most graphic that I have been so far. Just be aware of that. You have been warned, and that is that. Okay, so it's March now that you're hearing this, but I'm going to be talking about my cycle that took place in February, which is like literally now that I'm recording. It's February, it's Aquarius season, and it's my birthday month. And honestly, I usually get pretty emo during my birthday. Even though I absolutely love celebrating my birthday, especially this year. Like I turned 35. It's a big milestone birthday. But I recognized that almost every year for the past however many years, my period always falls around my birthday. Womp womp. So, I always chucked up like my emotional state to like social media and giving in to all the imposter syndrome and being able to like see all these other people and how they celebrate their birthdays and have these like big milestone like surprises and just having like a lot of expectations that surround your birthday and celebrating yourself. But now in my big age, just like it's now dawning on me, like, duh, sis, like your period falls on your birthday. Of course, you're going to be like emotional and hormonal and emo. Like, come on, get it together. So anyway, my period's all up in the way, but I'm going to give myself some grace because that's what you got to do. So my cycle for February came the day after my birthday, which I was like, thank God, because I didn't want it on my birthday because that would be hella rude for one. But I did feel it brewing a few days beforehand. So my cycle likes to do this thing now where I have most of all of the symptoms, but none of the blood. So I got all of like the cramping and irritability like a few days before my cycle, but I didn't start bleeding yet. So when my birthday was on a Thursday, I say that I started my cycle Friday because I had all the cramps. I had all the like butt cramps, pelvic pain, all of it. I had the irritability, I had the fatigue. But I didn't start bleeding until Saturday. So I say Friday felt like the hell of a first day period, but I didn't really start bleeding until Saturday. And this was like, sometimes it comes like late, like in the afternoon, but it came like Saturday morning, like in the middle of the night type thing. So anyway, all of this started when I was about 28, 29. So now at 35, I'm recognizing another shift. Like it comes in waves and it changes and it does what it wants to do. Like sometimes it used to, a week before, I would get like the attitude or whatever. And then I knew my period was coming the week after. And then it's changed to like a few days before, and then it would come, and then it changed to like the day before, and then it would come, and then now it's like, yeah. So anyway, I had all of the symptoms that I normally have. I had butt cramps, I had pelvic pain, I had back pain, I had leg pain, I had bloating, discomfort when I pee and when I poop, and a whole lot of constipation. One thing that I made like the intentional effort to do this month was to juice. And when I say this month, I mean February. So on my birthday, I bought a whole bunch of produce and I prepped it and I was ready to go. And I juiced on my birthday that night. So friends came over. They surprised me with cake and wine. I didn't have any wine. I usually try not to drink the week of my cycle because I read a lot about alcohol and sugar and how it just exacerbates your cramping and things. So I try not to drink. But anyway, they came over and I juiced while they were there. And I truly feel that the juicing, at least for myself, it helps with the constipation. So I get extremely inflamed and tight in my uterus, and what I now know as the endometrial like scar tissue tethering to my rectum in my butt. So now that I know that, I understand why I have the constipation, right? So I started juicing in hopes that it would loosen up my bowels and help me to pass easier. And it does. I think that it does. I still struggle. Like I literally spend a lot of my time just in the bathroom, which is hella embarrassing. But if we gonna get into it, we gonna get into it. For any one session, it could be a half an hour to 45 minutes of me literally just sitting on the toilet. Nothing's happening, but like I have to sit there because I don't know if the butt cramp is like poop or if it's gas or if it's just a cramp. So I spend a lot of my time back and forth to the bathroom just in case. So yeah, I feel that the juicing helps to loosen things up. And I also recognize that I don't drink enough water. Like to the point where I have to actively tell myself to hydrate. And it's not that I don't, like, mostly I only drink water. But when I'm on my cycle, because my brain is only focused on the pain, I'm not focused on eating. I'm too nauseous to eat anyway. I'm not focused on drinking water, but the hydration is also supposed to help you pass things easier. So yeah, I have to kind of recognize that I need to drink more water. But again, you're not concerned with that because you're concerned with the pain that you're in. Let's talk about fatigue. I get to a point where I am so exhausted, and I mean pure fatigue. I cannot stress enough how much your body is trying to just rest, but it is on at all times. You are in pain, you are bloated, you are active. Like your body is so active, it doesn't have time to like take a break. So I am exhausted, but I'm in so much pain. So I can't like find a balance between sleeping and existing. I don't know how to explain it. I'm just in too much pain to relax. So I mentioned in another episode that I have naproxen. Like I was given naproxen instead of ibuprofen because it's a little stronger and it helps. And I think I mentioned that naproxen is like a form of Advil, but I meant Aleve. But anyway, that doesn't matter. I don't use the naproxen. I maybe should have used it for this month, but I didn't because it messes with my stomach lining more, and that causes more pain than the cramping causes, if that makes any sense. But the aftermath of it causes more pain than the relief that I'm getting from using it, so I don't use it. So I just used ibuprofen again this month. I also drink a shit ton of tea. Like I have raspberry leaf tea, nettle leaf tea, red zinger tea. I have a lot of different herbal tea mixes from either local tea shops or I buy online from the Tea Spot. I can't say that they help a whole lot, but they do help reduce the inflammation, which is a huge help to me so that I can at least take a nap. Like naps are far and few between, but when I can get one, it's amazing. And then I also got a TENS unit. I'm not going to try to pronounce the T word, but it's like an electrical nerve stimulant. You put the patches like on your stomach or on your back or wherever you're feeling the pain. And those currents send, or the machine sends currents to your nerves to either like kind of block or change your perception of the pain that you're feeling. So it doesn't really alleviate it. It just kind of shifts your reality. And it helps. Oh my God. It helps a lot to just get that brief, temporary relief so that again, you can take a nap or you can take a shower. That's been a game changer. I've been using it for the past 3 months and I can tell a difference. Not to say that it is like a one size fits all, but like it helps. So if you're able, like medically, to use one, I would look into it. Again, I'm not a doctor, so please don't take my word for my word, but I'm just speaking from my own experience. And if it helps somebody else, like that's all I want. I just want to help somebody else who is experiencing the same thing as me. And then lastly, let's talk about the brain fog. I didn't know this was a thing until recently. I always, again, chalk this up to like social media and how much information we intake on a daily basis, on an hourly, minute by minute basis, but we're not like holding anything. We're not like we're ingesting it, but we're not like holding on to it. So it's like in and out, in and out, in and out. We're just taking in all these things. And so I felt that was affecting my memory, my age, all of these other factors, right? So for the longest, like I lose my thoughts and my words at the drop of a dime. And now I am learning that it's like a hormonal thing. Like my brain perception is altered during my cycle time. So to the point where like I completely forget things. I completely disassociate myself from my body because I'm in so much pain, and that's all my brain can take. Like that's all that it can see, that's all that it can hear, that's all that it can feel is the pain, like nothing else. And so like this revelation was mind-boggling to me. Like it blew my mind because there's literally like almost an explanation for everything that happens. I know all of these symptoms are not like a one-size-fits-all situation, but a lot of us are living such similar lives right? Like it's kind of wild. Um yeah, I that's pretty much how February went. Um this was supposed to be a short episode, but I want to be able to explain in so much detail as I can, so that you really get an idea of what I go through every month. Like, this isn't just like every 6 months something like this happens. No, this is every 28 days, like clockwork. And I am to the point where I know the exact day my cycle is going to start. And I wish I knew the exact day that it ends, but it doesn't matter. If it's longer than it needs to be, it's back on that 28-day, like it never left. And so, I mean, when you think about it, you have your cycle week, then you have a week of like clearing up, and then you have a week to yourself, and then that next week is like preparation for it to start all over again. So like you're never yourself. That's how I feel. I'm never free enough to just be. I can't make plans to do things. I didn't make any plans for my birthday. And I struggled with that because I'm like, I'm turning 35, like it's a milestone birthday. I usually do like a whole photo shoot situation where I go all out, and I just make a big to-do about myself, because you should celebrate yourself always, not just your birthday, but always. But I didn't make any plans for this birthday, and I struggled with that. But in my mind, I was like, I'm going to be on my period, and I know that when I'm on my period, I can't physically do anything. I can't be anything for anybody. I can't do anything. So I was just like, I'm just not going to bother to make plans. And then my friends surprised me, and it was really sweet. They brought over cake and wine, and we just had a really good like girls' night, and I'm eternally grateful for that. To have friends that recognize what you need when you don't recognize what you need, or when you shy away from what you need. So yeah, it was a shitty period, but it was a decent birthday, and I'm still here and alive to share my story. So that's what I'm going to continue doing. But yeah, so I want you guys to chime in all the time. Like, please leave me comments, hit my DMs up. If you're not following me on social media, please do at dearauntflo.pod. I want to hear from you. I want you to share your story. I want to open up the conversation around our periods. I want us to have a safe space to talk about what's happening with our bodies. So let me know if you guys experience any of these things, how you cope with them, what you're learning, so that we can get through these together. Okay? So yeah, that's that. I will try to do a what's happening with my cycle update when I can. I don't know if I'll do it every month, as like a bonus episode, but I will try to update you, at least in my posts. I do a lot of posts, like reusing the content that I'm recording while I'm recording. So you can always just comment under those, and I am an open book. So let's chat. Let's become period BFFs. And yeah, let's continue the conversations. Anyway, I love you. I see you. I hear you. And I will see you in the next episode. Peace.